Who's ready for some Bepro, Polk, and POLKADEX analysis? Well, raise your hand. Today is Monday, October 11th. Welcome back to the cosasverdes crypto and altcoin trading show. I'm going to start off with a content that was exclusive to my patrons. So new viewers, check this out. I did not release this to YouTube. This was a daily update trying to get my community get comfortable picking something up with the intent to sell, to practice selling, always be selling. But when you buy, you're only buying because you're going to sell, right? So here's an example, and we'll see how this has played out on the chart so far, okay? And to be honest, it's worked out very nicely. The 1 hour 200 EMA as support like it is now, you pick a little bit up, and then immediately put in 5 limit sells for that amount you bought, okay? An average distance away from how far Bepro likes to bounce off of this. So let's say bounce off 40% there, 30% there, 60% there. So it's kind of up in the it kind of moves around, right? But all you have to do is measure from here. Let's say you can put one limit. Let's say you bought 100 of them. You sell 20 Bepro at 30% above, 20 Bepro at 35, 20 Bepro at 40, 20 at 45, 20 at 50. Okay, hopefully that was 5. And that's all you do. So you literally set limit orders like this. And if you don't know what a limit order is, I have videos on that, how to set limit orders, right? So, oops. And you need. All right, so I was saying put limit orders. So you see where that is on the right-hand side where the blue box is, where my cursor is? 0.011. And actually, I haven't backtested this. I don't know how high it's gone. So that's what I was doing within my community. That is a normal, fairly normal daily update. Not all daily updates are videos like this, but this is the time where I'm going to start screaming at people, and I'm really trying to get my community practicing selling with very specific numbers, all right? So let's go to the Bepro chart, and let's see how well that would have worked out. What'd I say? So at 1.15 or whatever, or 1.1, or hell, just right in the middle. So you would have been selling right here. And how big of an increase would that be? 25%. So if you bought $1,000 of Bepro, you would have made 250 bucks off that trade. And how long? So it wasn't quite there yet. So if you would have had to wait for it to hit. So from there till it sold, 1 day and 15 hours. Now, does trading always work out that way? No. But it'll never work out that way if you're not buying with the intent to sell. I'm telling you. Now, do you need to sell all your bags, new viewers? No. We do a 10 to 20 bag theory. Okay. And I have a link. Just go to the description section. Look where it has the fingers pointing down. It says library videos. Just use one of those links. The one that says 10 bag, I think. Go watch that video. Go watch that video. And then if you don't know what a limit sell is, so you couldn't, so you could put limit sells here where I suggested. Well, guess what's right under there in the same area in the description section? How to limit sell, or it says limit sells and limit buys, because you have to limit buy down here because you're not watching the chart all the time. Or you could have watched. They hung out here for 15 hours and here 15 hours as well. So zoom in here. You actually did have plenty of time to market buy. Yeah, 15 hours and 15 hours. And so these targets up here are more of a swing trade. So that would be that. So for a swing trade, that would be more like a 20 to 30 bag sell opportunity. Okay. But all of these on a 1 hour time frame, these are your perfect 10 to 20 bag plays, right? So there's a little bit difference. That's why I have 2 different, types of sell targets in here. This is a bigger sell target for especially if this had come up here. So at this point, since it's deciding to stair step, I would probably remove these and, or just use these as the next 10 bag opportunity. But I was expecting a potential for the third pop, because a lot of times that third 1, 2, and then you go really high and then you overcorrect and come back below the orange line. I was expecting that as a possibility. So now that didn't happen, I would probably get rid of these targets and just keep playing the percentages here. Anytime it hits this line, pick some more up, sell it for 30% higher, do it again until it doesn't work. That's it. All right. So, and that's what I'm trying to, scream at everybody in the community to be doing, not just selling and not just buying. You want to be buying with the intent to sell it. And again, that's not all your Bepro. I can't be any clearer about that. All right. So now, what do I mean? Do it until it doesn't work anymore. Well, I actually have a bullish case for. Let me see. How can I say this? I think this could actually be ready to happen on Bepro pretty soon. In the up movement to where trading is just off the table, and thank God I only sold 10% of it because it ain't coming down for a couple months. and I probably won't be able to buy it back as low as where I sold it, right? But it doesn't matter. This entire time you were getting more Bepro and more money. So that's all you want, right? So, and I think that could actually be ready to happen. I want to show you what I'm talking about. On the weekly scale, okay? And again, this is what I'm doing. Do it until it doesn't work. What does that mean, Tim? Well, let me tell you one area where, like, what I'm seeing, how it might not work, but it's a good thing. But you still do it until it doesn't work. You just do. Just do. All right. And don't just buy and pray and sit there and watch your shit, right? Okay, so Bepro was an early mover in the last altcoin market, or altcoin season, okay? So Phantom was busting out in January. Almost nothing busted out this early in February. Most altcoins did their pump in March, April. So because it was a first mover, it was a first corrector. And this big candle right here, okay, that's when the Wyckoff crap happened on Bitcoin and it tanked from 54 to 29K. And so look, just look at before that happened, Bepro already went down 78% before the crash. And then it went down another 75%. Look, 78%, then 78% twice. Okay, so let me connect these thoughts of why what I'm showing you on the 1 hour chart might be about ready to actually not work anymore, but in a good way, all right? Potentially. And I wouldn't give this an over 50% chance of happening. I would say maybe 30%, okay? And I'm going to give you a couple of ways that I think Bepro might move, but one is really, in a nutshell, I'm building up to the idea that Bepro might hit all-time highs by November 1st. Now, will it stay up there? No. If it hits it that fast, it won't stay up there. But I think it might be about ready to happen, and potentially in October, or first week of November, and then cool off. So, first mover, first corrector, extra correction, and so you had an extra, like a double correction. So it put in not just more jail time because it was a first mover. So this jail time didn't exist on most altcoins. So it did more jail time. It did harsher jail time, right? Because it went down lower. It was in a dungeon. It was like being fed the scraps from the other jail people. Like, this is literally bottom of the barrel jail stuff because it was a first mover, right? It got beaten down. It did more time. It did harder time. And because of that, I think that Bepro has a chance of staying very volatile this whole run, the rest of this run. It does have a chance to really put in some time in this box. Okay, maybe a few weeks above, maybe flirt with 2 cents or something, come back down, put a few weeks in this box, and then calm down, and then you'll get more of a more classic alt season. However, Bepro is set up right now because of those things combined, jail time, early mover. I think it might just stay volatile. And if we do see that you get a weekly closure above this box relatively soon, like in the month of October, November, if that happens, okay, then trading on small time frames becomes irrelevant because it's going to stay volatile and it's going to fly. All right. And when it flies, that's when you get your bigger, more confident sells, more like a 50 bag as opposed to 10 and 20 bag on smaller time frames. And I think it just, honestly, I think it might go like this, folks. And I think it'll hit this line. I think it'll break all-time highs just after this intersection because I feel that this intersection where this is all-time high, the wick high, right? Mixed with this upward line, which is my speed limit, which most of you who have been watching my channel, Bepro for the rest of its life will not be sustainable above its speed limit. Just like I kept saying back here and hardly anybody believed me. And then once it finally happened and it went back down to a penny, just like I said it would, then I got a lot more followers and patrons and all that stuff because of that. I'm saying it this confidently as well. So this line is your new speed limit. Okay. Anytime that Bepro is above there will ultimately be a good time to sell. Will it be a perfect time to sell? Well, maybe not, because if you zoom in, you know, like on the daily, you'll have one day hit it, come down 20%. The next day, even though I'm on the weekly, it'll come back up and hit it, but it'll all happen within 1 point on the weekly, right? So within 1 week, it could actually hit it on a higher, you know, it could go up a little bit more. So I'm not saying it's exact. There is a, if you take the microscope to the weekly wick, it could hit it 3 and 4 times and slightly higher each time, right? So I want to take that with a grain of salt. But this speed limit, you're not going to see weekly closures happen above it. Probably not even a daily closure. And if a day, it's going to be 1 day only. So I think that per my rule, when 2 important lines cross, and hell, and you have an origin line here, so you have like a trifecta of intersections, it can attract price to it, whether it prices above and it attracts it back when important lines cross or not. And so it's all based off the idea that it was an early mover, did more jail time and harder jail time. I think it'll stay more volatile because of that. And that's my case for Bepro racing up to all-time highs, not sustainably, but doing it by the first week of November. I would say it has a 20% chance of doing that. This could really, really get hot, okay? Now, what is a more reasonable, okay, Tim, cool your tits, you know, all this kind of stuff. What's a more reasonable thing to be thinking about? Well, I mean, reasonable would be, what would be healthy if Bepro could close 3 weeks within here, 4 weeks, but because it did this and it had to catch up so fast, and it did, and then it corrected real fast, I think that's the trend. The trend is volatility on Bepro right now. So how does this make, but Tim, you said on the 1 hour chart, you know, do this and that. Yeah, do it until it doesn't work. And that's all you can do, right? And I'm simply giving you my case of what it'll look like and why if it does stop working on these small time frames. But for now, all intents and purposes, all intensive. I like intensive purposes, Tim. No, I don't like intensive purposes. I like intents and purposes. Your intent is to buy with the purpose of selling. Practice doing that until it doesn't work. Okay. All right. So let's move on to Polk. Hey, altcoin season is close, so I'm going to start yelling at everybody early this time, okay? I'm not waiting until March to yell. I'm yelling now, bitches. We're doing this. Old yelling Kosa Tim is back. Yeah, because shit's getting hot and more than half of you aren't going to sell jack crap. So I'm trying to slowly ease you all into it. All right, let's go to Polk. Okay, as you know, I do own a decent amount of Polk. I'm more Bepro than Polk, though. And I am fairly regularly 20 bagging Polk. So I want to be very clear with that. Now, do I have like $100,000 of this crap? No, I'm not going to get rich because you watch my channel. Definitely not what I'm saying. But I do own it, okay? And I actually own all 3 of these that I'm going to talk about in this video. I want to be very clear. Now, the way I sell, though, it actually helps you and your bags go up. And I'm more of a liquidity provider for a lot of these coins, the way I sell. All right. Because I actually know where to sell typically. And even if I don't know where to sell and I think I do, well, shit, the way I do it, it still helps you. Because if it goes past and flies past, well, part of that is because I created the liquidity so you could climb that ladder and keep going. Because without that ladder, sometimes bots stop buying. If they don't see like a bunch of stuff to grab, they won't go grab them. I'm telling you, right? So the way I sell it, in the end, it does help you in my community. So what I'm seeing right now, I'm doing the 1 hour chart on a lot of these until things start flying. Okay, so I'm on the 1 hour chart right now, mixed with this horizontal here. So what I can see here is Polk is finally getting, let's take off price. It's 1 hour 200 EMA back to the middle point of control. So what I expect to happen is that the mixture of this is the point of control of the middle of this range here. See this middle of the range? And this has acted like support and resistance. I think that double support now that price has come above, I think this double support on this second or third try, so one try, two, so this third try, I think it's going to stick its landing. All right. And because of that, if Bepro, for example, were to really take off over the next couple of weeks and leave you in the dust and you wanted to practice a different one, this is kind of setting up to be a prime example. Okay? And the cool thing about this is this. If you can find 2 coins, okay, take 50 bucks of each of them and just buy the orange line for both of them. For example, not just Pokemon cards, not any financial advice. But just check out what I'm saying. Cross coin flops happen way better on smaller time frames. Your gains aren't as big, but you could constantly practice seeing your money go up with more regularity if you use 2 or 3 coins on a smaller time frame. Here's why. Because each of these little pops, the chance that they're going in opposite, the chance that Bepro is here, okay, while Polk is here, is higher because they're happening more often, right? So kind of like in physics, the small world, right, that scientists technically, like no one on Earth, even the most brilliant physicist, it's very difficult to understand because you actually can't observe it. It's more mathematical. Anything big and anything small actually are kind of the same thing. But but it's chaotic, right? So if there's more chaos, what could be beneficial is adding something that finally got in an uptrend on its 1 hour 200 EMA, and then whenever you just happen to have your limit sales hit on Polk, you have a pretty good chance of what happening on Bepro, of being a market buy opportunity back down here, right? And then that means that on Polk, you don't have to wait for it to come all the way back down in 3 days. You could just write up Bepro, have it sell, and then what happens? Let's say that Polk already came back down, and it's just only here now, and you catch most of that move with more money because you increased the money that you had because you bought Bepro at that line, and then you sold it higher. Now you have more tether. Now you buy more of it, right? So if you want to take, buying with the intent to sell one step farther, adding Polk with Bepro and cross trading them with the idea is that sometimes, not always, sometimes a peak will align with a valley, and that essentially makes it even way more profitable when you can time that stuff on small time frames. And so when you're on small time frames, remember that's also a smaller bag opportunity, right? So you don't want to be 50 bagging and selling half your Bepro, half your Polk to do this stuff on a 1 hour time frame. I'm talking more like 10 to 20 bag max, right? And honestly, on the 1 hour chart, I usually do a 10. I usually 10 bag on a 1 hour chart. And sometimes it's kind of measly. Sometimes I come out, I'm only like $20 better. What's the point of that? Well, it's $20 better, right? Even on a small measly trade, but it doesn't matter. You're doing it because one of these trades will work out, and you just got to keep doing it. So you miss all shots that you don't take, like Michael Jordan quote, I think. So it might not be a Michael Jordan quote. I don't know who said that, but you miss all shots you don't take. So take a lot of shots. Take a lot of shots, right? And so adding Polk to this will allow you to take more shots. Try it. Will it always work out perfectly? No. Sometimes they both pop at the same time. Like, shit, now I got to wait on both. All right, I'll wait on both. Or go find something else. Maybe PDEX. Will PDEX be at that line doing the same thing? Who knows? So, all right. So that's what we got for Polk on the short-term time frames. Let me look at the larger time frames real quick because I've got big ideas for Polk. I personally think it could be a 100x coin from back here when I was getting it. Not 100x from where it is now, but I think it could. So does the chart align with this? All right. How long has Polk consolidated? 70 days. Is that enough? Yeah. It's a very young coin. All it did was go down for the first, until here. It was going, actually, I would consider till here. So how long has this coin been alive? 210 days. So it's been consolidating for 30% of its life, and it's been going down for 70% of its life. Sounds like Cardano as of recently, before 2020. Actually, I could have said that in 2021 as well at the early 2021. Anyway, so is that enough time? Yes, it is. And what you can see here from a pattern trading perspective is cup, handle, explosive move up, cup and handles work. Why? Because all it means is you had a big move down and then you consolidated healthily and now you're ready to go up. That's all cup and handle means, right? But when you only pattern trade and you see that, sure, can you trade it? Absolutely. Cup and handles are, honestly, besides triangles and crypto, cup and handles work way better than your head and shoulders and inverse head and shoulders. No, those don't have good hit rates. at all. They break up in whatever direction a lot. It's just, it does. So head and shoulders do call breaks pretty well, but it doesn't help you with the percentage likelihood of which way it's going to break. It really doesn't. But cup and handles are one of the most certain formations in crypto. Like, it's on a percentage basis that it is. I don't know the exact percentage, but it's high. So you have a cup and handle forming right now, and those are the base reasons. You went down its whole life, then you consolidated healthily, and now you're ready to move up. That's all it means, right? So if you put on the weekly 10 here, guess what that means? And I even break this down even more simply on EMAs. All right, I need at least 4 weeks of consolidation on the weekly 10 to be confident in my buy. If altcoin season is raging, I don't even think about buying an altcoin if it's not close to its weekly 10. Or if it went way above and did a 70% correction, okay, I would think about it then, even if it's still far from its weekly 10. If I see a 70% correction during a nasty bullish move way above the 10, okay, there's one exception. But my base rule of thumb is all about the weekly 10. And look at this. Look at Polk. Forget about the range. Forget about the cup and handle. Just remember this one simple thing. It's more than 4 weeks living on the weekly 10. It's 10 weeks. Well, 9, because this week hasn't really yet. It's 9.5 weeks. This sucker is ready. I don't know. This sucker looks ready. So, and what you can do with it? Well, zoom in on a 1 hour, which if you only use the 200 EMA and percentages above it, okay, by the orange line. Well, actually, let's measure the average pops. So 1, 2, 3 pops. So this one's more like 20% above. Sell 20 to 22% higher. And after it's bounced twice, so I would count this as one bounce, right? I'm not this lower high, I'm not counting. So once, so after the next one, that third bounce could be bigger, lead you up to here, then you can increase the percentage. But the way it bounces after using it as resistance, you know, support, broke back below, but it's using it as the first time here, it's probably going to get 20% bounce. So 20% bounce, 20% bounce, and then you're going to get your bigger one. Okay. So this next sell box for this would be around 20% higher from where you bought it. It's probably going to come up here. You'll have another buy opportunity, and then you can increase your targets. Okay. And after it were to do that, if things, because it's so ready, it might not come back down. The play might be different. You don't just trade the 1 hour 200 every time, because there's a point when it doesn't work, right? So I'm trying to get you to anticipate, okay, so I know I do it until it doesn't work. How can I anticipate when it doesn't work? It looks, you could only have a couple trades on this. And that's because it's put in 9 weeks on the weekly 10. It's ready to go, but you still do it until it doesn't work. But you have to calm your expectations that you're only going to be able to do it once or twice, and then maybe stop then. Because if you can anticipate when to stop and you stop when you're supposed to stop, that leads you to closer to perfect trading, even though you should never try to trade perfectly. It's profitability over time. But that trying to understand how to anticipate things, when to stop, it helps you from being left in the dust, selling too early, and then just never comes back down, right? So I'm trying to help you add that to your thing. Do it until it doesn't work, but yeah, sometimes make a good guess on when it won't work, right? So I'm thinking you're only going to get it like maybe 1 to 2 trades, which maybe 3 over the next 3 weeks. So I wouldn't hold on to this idea the rest of the bull run, right? So this is the 1 hour chart. You need to think 1 hour mentality. I would try this 2 to 3 times. And the next time though, yeah, I would do 20%, buy it one more time, then I would probably increase it to like 30 or 40% because I think it'll be a bigger pop. Actually, I'd probably just sell that line. Sell around that line, and then you probably need to get off the 1 hour chart and look at something else. And you could still play around with Bepro and Polk, but it might be better for your short-term time stuff to choose 2 other assets that are still just getting above its 1 hour and using it as support and trying this play again. It could just be called your 1 hour 200 play, right? And you don't just do that on the same coin. It's independent of coin. You just pick which 2 coins are best to do this. And that's one play that I have. Sometimes I play the 4 hour, sometimes I play the weekly. But the longer out, weekly, you only get like 3 trades a year. So if you want to play around with crypto on the 1 hour chart, just know that, hey, it's a play, it's not a coin. So you don't have to do this on Polk and Bepro forever, right? That's not what I'm saying. It is a play. If you want to play with getting more crypto using other people's money, think of it as a play box. Who cares that it's Bepro? But right now, Bepro and Polk are looking pretty good to do this. All right, so always be selling, but just have the right expectations, trying to build this up in everybody. All right, so PDEX. And mixing in some price analysis. I don't know how much longer my my Joe Rogan style. Man, this has really gone down a lot farther than I thought. Okay, so I am on a swing trade on this. And as you can see, I'm at a loss on my swing trade. Since Bitcoin is going up so aggressively, I'm personally not worried about getting stopped out. That's me personally. Is that perfect trading? Far from it. Far from it. I just know that this line has a statistically likely probability of being a low point. And if it does come all the way down here, while Bitcoin is still strong, it's probably just going to wick right back up. And all I did was miss out on an opportunity to buy lower. Not worried about it. So I don't want to be out of my trade and then it pops up when I could have been in my trade. So that it's tit for tat. So I personally, when Bitcoin is extremely strong and I anticipate the altcoin market is really going to rage, I use stops on spot trades of altcoins way less, if at all. When I start seeing daily bearish divergence on Bitcoin, that is when I start using stops on even my spot trades of here. But as you can see, profitable trading over time, I am not trading perfectly right now. I bought in this box. I market bought in this box. And how long have I been stuck in this trade? 7 days. When the hell am I going to be able to sell up here? But my mentality was right. I expected 3 to 4 weeks, right? So will I be able to sell in this box in 3 to 4 weeks from the time I bought? That's 3 weeks. 21 days. So there's, somewhere around 4 weeks there. I think I will. So actually, let me make my box 3 to 4 week expectation. So in the grand scheme of things, as long as you can buy this line and sell this line with the opportunity to buy back just a little bit lower, that's all you care about. And so when you buy and sell, this is the type of stuff that freaks people out. No, but have the bigger context. Bitcoin's going up. The market's starting to rage. If you bought in it, and so in this case, it's coming down, I personally am not worried about it because I'm seeing that bigger picture. Now, if Bitcoin had bearish divergence on the daily and I thought a big dip could happen, okay, I would be a little bit more worried. But if that is not the context right now, so therefore that's not my mentality. So right now, my mentality is I don't care about this. I don't care. The best times to buy are scary. Well, sometimes it's scary and then it goes down a little more, whatever. But in the greater context, I am fine with that. I am focused on this box. I'm sticking with my plan. And for my patrons, I think for my VIPs and crackheads, I made a daily up to date, and I'm going to start letting them know how many days have I been on a trade, because I'm seeing a lot of my VIPs and the people who trade more right now, their expectations of being in a trade are too short. So right now, I'm 4 days stuck in this trade. Is that a long time? No, but I didn't look to day trade this, right? My futures are my day trading. If I want to day trade, I trade futures. And even then, I only get like one. I only have an opportunity to sell my targets like once a week, right? You're not like getting like thousands of dollars a day off of or you're not getting tens and tens of percentages a day off of any form of day trading ever. It's more waiting and boringness and taking small losses before you have 3 big gains that outweigh your 7 small managed losses, right? Your 3 big gains are a bigger arrow than this arrow down. Right? And it happens less frequently, right? So PDEX, why is it doing this? I don't know. Am I worried about it? No. And all I've gone over were the reasons why. And so that in the future, when you get a buyback or a buy box hit, these are the things that go behind. Okay, well, should I be scared to buy? Should I wait for it? Well, I mean, no. You buy the buy box. You stick with the plan and you sell here. Does it work out 100% of the time? No. Will it wick down in the meantime and then work out perfectly? Possibly, right? Okay, so a plan and stick with the plan. This is personally and honestly, when I say pick it up PDEX right now would be a great idea. I don't know. I prefer to buy higher lows or an equal low. So actually, you know what? I personally wouldn't even try picking this up quite yet. I think other things you would make more money if you found something ready to pop. This isn't ready to pop. This has to come back up, then retest, and then come up, make a higher low, and then it can pop. So if you're looking for something to get a pop, I don't think PDEX is the thing to get right now. Could you say, oh yeah, I bought it at lower and intended? Yeah, but you're going to be stuck in this a while too, because those things that I just said are going to happen, most likely. It's not just going to go kablam, kablam. It ain't going to happen. This has to recover from this, right? So therefore, would you like to buy something low and see it recover? Or do you want to buy something that's strong now and pops? 30% pop, 20% pop, all within, 2 weeks, 2 opportunities to sell, kind of like Polk and Bepro were set. Much more profitable to be kind of looking at actually Polk right now than this. So I also want to show you that perspective here. Yes, this is probably a deeper sale, a bigger sale. But do you want a sale or do you want more money? Faster. So strength equates to getting more money faster. If you wanted to look for a long time play and not really piss with, your PDEX for several weeks or until the end of the run, yeah, here's a good opportunity for that. An investor. So this is an investor opportunity. I personally don't see this as a good trade opportunity relative to other better trades that are in an uptrend and easier to sell. Because this is not an uptrend. This needs the recovery and then it's an uptrend. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, so let's look at what the hell is going on with PDEX on the weekly chart. Yeah, it looks bad. I don't know what's going on. Looks real bad. No, it's coming down towards this line. Okay. Well, the likelihood of it going, actually, it's right at where it's gonna go. I don't see it going any lower than that. That's a bi-weekly horizontal. It might wick down to it, but 1521 would be like the bare minimum. So honestly, if you wanted to trade, maybe this wouldn't be a bad trade. But you have to view it as a recovery trade. You want to put your sell box where it's going to recover. Actually, this would be a good trade. Because that's a big percentage of just trying to get a recovery back above the 1 hour. I mean, shit, that's a 20% trade. I can do that, I guess. As long as my mentality where this is a recovery trade, all I want to see is a wick above the 1 hour 200. It's going to come back below. It's going to go above, probably go back below again, come up, then use it as support. And that's when you start the 1 hour play. But right now it's not at a 1 hour play, but you could catch this and get a good recovery somewhere back up at 770. That'd be a good trade. But it's a totally different type of trade, right? And it's a little riskier. So, but it is hitting a bi-weekly horizontal. I don't know. It's a totally different type of trade. I don't like trading this. So maybe this is your style. Maybe you want to get that super deal, right? But if you try this, don't expect to sell it here quickly. I would sell it like 3 or 4 times on the way up there. 3 or 4 times, maybe 5. Because the recovery phase will be 2, and then the pump phase will have 3. So yeah, it's going to have at least 1, 2, then recovery 1, 2, and then your pump. Something like that. You won't get that big pump until at least a couple strong bounces. Once this is an uptrend. So it's tradable. Not my trade though. Is it your trade? Leave me a comment down below. If you say, hell yeah, this is a PDEX trade I'm taking. Sure. Personally, I already took the trade and I'm waiting. So I did not trade this perfectly, but in the end, will it be profitable? Just ask yourself this question. Is it profitable to buy here and sell here? And then buy back lower? Yes. That's all I care about. What do you care about? You care about getting the ultimate low? Well, if that's what you're focused on, just know it's not the best type of trading, but it is a trade. It is a trade and it's tradable. And actually I might. Yeah, I'm not going to play this one. I don't like doing these. I like higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. Uptrends, much easier. Now, in the downtrend though, like if you see things wick up constantly and hit an EMA, yeah, I take shorts there. But right now, this is definitely not a shorting season. And if you're shorting out there, whew, shame on you. It's a very strong trend up. So hopefully you like these Joe Rogan style videos today. It's not always going to be like this, but one thing to expect, new viewers and returning viewers, is things are going to start getting hot. And I cannot stress enough, you need to practice buying and selling, practice buying and selling. Watch my the links in the description section that say library with arrows. So just go to the description section, look for like fingers down, and watch those videos if you haven't. And then also I have links to my Patreon community so you can see exactly what I'm providing to each tier, or exact examples, I guess. You can't see exactly, because then why the hell would you join? I get this shit for free, man. This guy's an idiot, man. Yeah. But anyway, you can see examples of previous content that I provide to each tier, so you can decide which one's best for you. And y'all just got Timified. Practice selling.